As World War II dragged on into its final years, the skies of Europe were ruled by Allied aircraft. Germany, once a pioneer in military innovation, now struggled to defend its troops from the relentless air superiority of its enemies. In desperation, German engineers sought to develop advanced weapons capable of countering this threat. One such creation was the Flakpanzer IV Kugelblitz, a cutting-edge self-propelled anti-aircraft gun that combined mobility, firepower, and the protection in a revolutionary design. This remarkable machine has many cool parts to its story. So let us dive into the story of the Kugelblitz, a machine that could have changed the fight against enemy aircraft had it been given a bit more time. By 1944, Germany's armies were in retreat across multiple fronts. The Luftwaffe, once a dominant force, had been reduced to a shadow of its former self. Allied planes ruled the skies, launching devastating bombing campaigns and strafing German ground forces with impunity. To counter this, Germany needed a new weapon, one that could keep pace with its armoured divisions and effectively neutralise enemy aircraft, while also being able to survive close-range air strafing attacks. Early efforts included the Wirbelwind and Ostwind, Flakpanzers based on the reliable Panzer IV chassis. These vehicles mounted anti-aircraft guns on open-top turrets, giving them an excellent field of view to engage incoming air threats and able, especially in the case of the Wirbelwind, to unleash large amounts of firepower. But these designs came with a significant drawback. The crew was left vulnerable to small arms fire, shrapnel, and the elements, sometimes having to drape a tarp over themselves for some elemental protection. But the solution? A fully enclosed turret with advanced weaponry, which got us to the Kugelblitz, the entry point for a new generation of anti-aircraft vehicles. The Kugelblitz, meaning ball lightning, was a flak panzer that sought to revolutionise mobile air defence. Its most striking feature was its hemispherical turret, a fully enclosed design that earned it its nickname. Unlike its predecessors, this turret provided excellent protection for the crew, shielding them from enemy fire and environmental hazards, with 30mm of thickness on all sides of the turret. The armour for the hull of the Kugelblitz was substantial, being that it was based off the Panzer IV chassis. 80mm at the front, 30mm on the sides, and 20mm at the rear. While these specifications were sufficient to fend off small caliber weapons, the Kugelblitz was not designed to withstand hits from heavy anti-tank guns or aerial bombs. It was more for the survival against strafing runs and light anti-tank that might be able to bypass the frontline elements and engage the Kugelblitz, which ideally would be just behind the front line, so that the supporting tanks and infantry would keep it out of the direct line of fire. The armament for the Kugelblitz was very powerful for an anti-aircraft vehicle, with the turret housing two 30mm Mark 103 autocannons, weapons capable of firing up to 900 rounds per minute with impressive armour penetration, able to achieve around 52mm of penetration at a 60-degree angle at 300 metres, which was more than capable of penetrating any light vehicle and aircraft, and even some of the lesser armoured medium vehicles. Originally designed for aircraft, these weapons were repurposed for ground use, making the Kugelblitz a versatile tool on the battlefield. And I personally think the vehicle was best suited as a support and suppression system, as it could eliminate gun positions on light vehicles with a barrage of armour-piercing or high-explosive rounds that could destroy anything that wasn't sufficiently armoured. The Kugelblitz also had an MG34 mounted on the front hull position for dealing with infantry that would be in the front arc of the tank, most likely if they were attempting to engage the Kugelblitz with handheld anti-tank weapons. The entire system was mounted on the Panzer IV chassis, a proven and reliable platform that had served in various roles throughout the war. This gave the Kugelblitz the mobility needed to keep up to Germany's mobile armoured forces, while its compact design allowed it to operate in diverse environments. The chassis was also a good choice as it was still being produced in the later stages of the war, and damaged Panzer IV parts could be cannibalised to support any vehicles using these chassis. The crew required to operate the Kugelblitz efficiently would have been at least 5 men, with a commander, 2 gunners who would also act as loaders for the main guns, a radio operator who would also operate the hull-mounted MG34, and a driver. I've not been able to see the internal loadout exactly due to lack of information on the tank, but the turret seems around the same size of a Panzer IV's standard turret, so most likely the crew would still have ample room to operate effectively, but also be fairly comfortable for the inside of a tank. Despite its advanced design, the Kugelblitz faced significant hurdles. By late 1944, Germany's industrial capacity was collapsing under the weight of the Allied bombing campaign. Factories were destroyed, resources were scarce, and skilled labour was in short supply. These challenges severely limited the Kugelblitz's production, as unlike the early anti-air vehicles, it required even more skilled labour, as its design was far more advanced in many cases. Also in logistics terms, as it used the 3cm autocannon ammunition, the most common variant of autocannon for the ground forces was the 2cm autocannon, so any stockpiles of ammo on the front lines or in supply depots were very unlikely to be able to be used by the Kugelblitz, and any stockpiles of 3cm ammunition would be earmarked for the Luftwaffe, as it was themselves who used that weapon almost exclusively on their aircraft. It is believed that only 5 to 7 units were ever completed, a mix of prototypes and pre-production models. These vehicles were never deployed in significant numbers, and their impact on the battlefield was minimal. Some reports suggest that 1 or 2 Kugelblitz vehicles may have seen combat during the war's final days, but evidence remains inconclusive. The only report I've been able to find was that a Kugelblitz fought near the town of Spikra in the southeastern area of Germany, where it was destroyed and remained buried in the Spartanburg Hill until its excavation in 1999, most likely knocked out by advancing Soviet armour. Had the Kugelblitz been developed earlier, its impact could have been pretty decent. Its enclosed turret and twin autocannons represented a significant leap forward in self-propelled anti-aircraft technology, and mass production could have provided German forces with a formidable defence against low-flying Allied aircraft, potentially prolonging their resistance. However, by the time the Kugelblitz appeared, it was too little too late. But this is the fate of many German vehicles that had amazing designs, but no matter how advanced the tanks were, the Allies had such an advantage in industry and production, Germany could never truly compete. I do wish we had seen this vehicle earlier, yet deep down I still prefer the Wirbelwind, because 4 20mm autocannons is just so much firepower and quite frankly looks amazing. Although the Kugelblitz failed to make a significant impact during the war, its design influenced post-war developments in self-propelled anti-aircraft systems. The concept of a fully enclosed turret became a standard feature, offering enhanced protection for crews and improved combat survivability, and it is said that the Allies studied the blueprints for future designs that would lead to far more advanced autocannon-based anti-aircraft guns. Today, the Kugelblitz is remembered as a testament to German engineering, ingenuity, and a glimpse into what might have been had circumstances been different. The story of the Kugelblitz is a fascinating chapter in the history of military innovation. It represents the desperate ingenuity of a nation on the brink of collapse, as well as the relentless march of technological progress, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different. Kind of an interesting tank that I stumbled across. Actually trying to do another video that will come out maybe in a few weeks or something. I just thought I can't really resist doing a video on such a cool looking tank, and hopefully, obviously, you know, I'm a big fan of Gates Hell Front. We'll see something like the Kugelblitz maybe in a future development also, or maybe there's a mod in it anyway, but I do see that, if you might have seen it, is in World of Tanks if you want to have a play around and see what it would have been like in combat. Anyway, thanks for watching everyone, and you guys have a fantastic evening.